When I call someone a piece of shit, what I'm doing is recognizing that I don't like certain qualities. And in fact, let's go even further. What we see in others is a direct reflection of what is inside ourselves, too, that we need to heal. So if I'm calling someone a piece of shit for this, this, and this, I need to take a damn good look in the mirror and see, well, where am I exhibiting piece of shit traits? Where am I a piece of shit? Why do I think I'm a piece of shit? Am I a piece of shit? Like, it's a really just direct fucking mirror. Hello. Hello. How are you? It's been a hot minute. It's so nice to be here. Lately, I've been moving and we had guests and getting ready for a really big trip coming up. Holy shoot. I'm so excited. And I've kind of taken like a self-care morning day, and that allows me to be here with you on this podcast. There were two, or there are, will be two blog posts that are going to finagle their ways into this conversation. Also, really quickly, I do have some exciting news that there will be some very beautiful, as this whole thing is random, there will be some random integrated podcast episodes, as I mentioned before, with Aubrey from Pleasure Roots. So we will be integrating spirituality with anything sexy, sexual, serious, any of that, pleasure related, because life is about pleasure too. Not just sexually either, by the way. But anyways, we've got a cool concept where we're going to draw a tarot card and we're going to draw a topic out of a hat. And that's going to be our episode, which I'm really excited about that. Love that idea. I need to put my phone on do not disturb here for a minute. So today we have two topics that, as always, I kind of just press play and see what comes forward, or press record. We're talking about change, and we're also talking about like our guides, spirit, and narcissism, or kind of just being a human that like, or being around humans or humans in general that can act in really weird ways, really selfish, and like why? 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 Why did they choose it if they choose a life? Why is it like that even if they didn't choose a life? Why do we have it in our life? So there's going to be a number of things, and I have a feeling it's all just going to integrate nicely. And if it doesn't, then I'll just do another fucking podcast episode later. So first, let's talk about narcissism. So many of us, including myself, have people or patterns in our lives where, or in the world, you know what I mean? Where there are highly egotistical or people that just like genuinely can't see out of their own ass, just kidding, their own experience. I am not a like professional therapist or psychologist or anything. I am here with the insight that has come forward from my personal experiences and what I know spiritually. So within the aspect of narcissism, when it comes so much about ourselves and our greatness, and which can stem from really deep cuts or pain or insecurities that have formulated in our lives. So, okay, great, not great, but great. Like we have narcissism, we have narcissists. And then I go beyond that and I go, well, like, why? Like, why? What I do believe is very deeply and connect to that we choose our lives, our soul chooses being here as a human or a fucking tree, but as a human to gain experience and learn and evolve our soul and connect deeper to our soul and heal ourselves. And like also why? Not sure about that quite yet. Like why our soul needs that? Not sure yet, to be honest. Still to be determined. Maybe that'll be my next like book I write or look into or something. But anyway, so if we do, which I believe, if we do choose this human life, and like, why, if I was a narcissist, which I honestly don't think I am, I don't connect to that for myself at all. And I think, I feel like as a person, I would admit it if I was or had traits of it, which I'm sure we all do, by the way. Of course, I exhibit traits of narcissism. We kind of all do, especially if it's in our cycle. But like, why, as a human, I won't name names in my life of people that I'm talking about. Why would we choose that? Why would we choose a life where it sort of does create this like innate conflict with others because there's like a disconnect in terms of sharing love or expressing love or caring about someone else kind of more than yourself. And as self-care is fancy and taking care of yourself and even being selfish is good at times, like yes, please, and boundaries and all of that, this is a different level in narcissism. And it becomes this like inflated version of self, and it becomes this inflated version of like shit, like for them, maybe if they connect to it being an issue or not, because also maybe they don't. They're just like, this is my life, this is my experience, and this is how I see it. So it is what it is. You know what I mean? And then it's up to people that are affected by it or have the cycles in their lives to like kind of recognize it, draw boundaries, take a second, and redefine how they either navigate the relationship or don't, which is what a lot of what I've chosen to do is I just don't want to deal with it. It's not that I'm avoiding it or running away. It's that I just consciously, I'm like, you know what? I know it's in my life. I know it'll happen to come forward for me every once in a while. Cool. And overall, I'm just going to say no, and I'm not going to choose to be around narcissists or anything like that because I just don't want to. You know, I love reciprocation. I love connectivity. I love caring. And I also love like chosen selfishness for everyone. Like I love that. And I don't love when it's not recognized that there's a heightened state that can really inflict themselves upon someone else or other people, empaths or people who are confused or people like, and we're seeing this in the world too. So, why choose that? And also, like, I feel bad for having those thoughts that someone's a narcissist and that I want boundaries. So, we're going to talk about that in a second. But the first thing that I've like taken in for myself, I've listened to my guides, I've even done some research online, and this is me creating my own composure and scenario around what narcissism and why they would choose it. So just always keep that in mind. And I am fully aware this is my perception of things, and I'm open to conversation. But if a narcissist is to choose this lifetime, what I found really connects to my understanding is that they have some past wounds to heal. They do have some sort of, like my friend said, it was like a karmic thing. And I can see that. I can see karma. And I more see a person, a soul, sorry, a soul, not a human, a soul, before coming onto this earth. I can see them choosing it to be like, we're going to challenge you in the form of like heart space and love. And we're going to challenge you like yourself, because it's kind of like your higher self chooses it or what have you. All the things, people, and places in yourself are choosing this to be like, we're going to learn some real lessons here. It's interesting to me that sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes narcissists are completely oblivious to like how they show up. And so that's also interesting. Mind you, just because there's not an intellect connection to that they're affecting other people or that like they're hurting, like if they don't connect to it on like an intellectual level, on a body and soul and spiritual level, they are. And so that's something I've had to recognize. Sometimes people's behaviors, if they have either narcissistic traits or a narcissist, I'm like, I literally get mind boggled. I don't understand this. I don't understand. How do you not see that? Are you lonely? Like, are you in pain? Yes. And every person's experience, including narcissists, which I feel bad for saying, which is going to lead me into my next point, but we all have our unique experiences, even if one is a narcissist or holds traits, their situation and perspective is going to be completely different from someone else's. And so it's just like a mind boggle. It's a mind fuck for myself. And also it's something that I just deeply know and understand on a spiritual level that this is like meant to be. This is meant to be for themselves. This is also meant to be for dramatic shifts. Hopefully, within other people around them, there is synergy, there is purpose. I know that might sound weird to say that about narcissists, but there is purpose, absolutely, in having either a narcissist in your life or being a narcissist. And I think also when we label things, it can create stigma, it can create things around it where if we alleviate even the word narcissism and just hold it into someone who moves a certain way or acts a certain way or thinks a certain way, then we're able to sort of move more with it and not create such like stagnant, stiff things around it. But again, if you want to create boundaries, trust your gut. And anytime a person who exhibits those kind of behaviors, like do it for yourself, like it's okay to label it for yourself if you're still learning. Absolutely. So, so I do feel that it's a really big thing that has been in my life in big and small ways. And it's something that I want to hold love towards for myself and also for others. And the person that is as someone I label as, right? This is my perception. I could be fucking wrong as a narcissist. Yeah, and they come here and they choose their life lessons and we choose to have them in our lives too because we also have a say. We're not necessarily a victim to our choices as a soul to who and we're going to have as our family and our friends and all of that, right? And yes, we have choice and things can change. And yes. So, anyways, being a narcissist, they're here to heal their heart, heal their soul's path, essentially. Those are my beliefs around it. Then we come back to someone like either like myself or others that experience, especially if you're possibly labeled like an empath. You don't have to be an empath for this to happen to you, but if you are like, oh my gosh, okay, so my therapist or my friend told me that they're a narcissist. Shit, like, okay, well, that means a few things. That means I have to acknowledge that. That means I have to label someone. And if I don't want to label them, that still means that there's something that's off within our connection that I don't like or that doesn't feel good or that like steals my energy. To acknowledge that and to admit that when, I don't know, for me, I don't even like try to operate out of heart space. I don't even try to save that cute little ant that's in my house. Like, I don't try. It just is natural for me to do that. And I'm sure others might feel the same way. That's my natural response is to love, care, and respect even a rock. So, to have these thoughts, like, it does feel weird for me to acknowledge something. I have been getting much better, especially from having the sex tape posted without my consent. There's been a lot of things that I had to get very real with myself. This person's not okay for me. This person made some really fucking shitty choices, and they're kind of choosing to be a shitty human right now. That was also really hard to do. A, because we protect um our perpetrators at times or can. Um, and B, we just want to feel fucking good. And so we're like, fuck, oh, I don't know what to do. So, and C, D, E, F, G, Z. Anyways, feeling bad is something that I have had to also acknowledge within myself. Like, also something that crosses my mind is why am I so good to have these thoughts to be like, oh, like, I feel bad or I'm trying to love. Like, who am I to be the lover in this situation, too? Like, who am I to judge? Like, why am I don't think of myself as better, but kind of like, if I'm being brutally honest, when I think of someone who exhibits narcissistic traits, like, there is a part of me that thinks I'm better. And I'm just going to admit that out loud. And that also means that I exhibit those traits too of possibly narcissism, right? Like, why? You know what I mean? Like, why would I think that? Not fair, really. And completely hypocritical of myself and also giving care to myself and to everyone. But so when I was sitting here being like, I feel bad. I feel bad for creating distance. I feel bad for saying no. I feel bad for even thinking someone in my past is really good and now going, shit, like that person was awful to me. Fuck. I feel bad about that. And I'm like, well, now I think they're a bad person. What are my guides thinking of me? Do my guides think I'm a piece of shit? Like, am I worse because I'm having these thoughts that someone's kind of awful and someone's not a good person and someone's not good for me? Like, am I bad for exercising this? Am I bad for believing this? Am I bad for saying this? And I really like dealt with that for so long, did some soul searching, did some research. No, they don't think that. Like, as an example, with people in my life that I still actively create boundaries with or feel like tension or like nervousness around because my energy is precious and I don't want someone to just make me feel like shit or tell me I'm dumb anymore or stupid. Great, have some boundaries, but like, no, I'm not bad for thinking that someone is bad for me. No, I'm not bad for thinking someone is bad. What our spirit guides and souls see is our evolution and understanding of love. And that looks again, even like relative to anyone, including people who are narcissists or exhibit narcissistic traits, that we're all evolving and connecting to love more for ourselves. And how we navigate our thoughts and how we navigate like connecting to things or realizing things or choosing differently is love for ourselves. And can we give ourselves love for feeling these things or sensing these things and calling someone a piece of shit too, honestly. And to me, when I call someone a piece of shit now, which again, I'm still exercising, and sometimes I feel really good saying that now. When I call someone a piece of shit, what I'm doing is recognizing that I don't like certain qualities. And in fact, let's go even further other. What we see in others is a direct reflection of what is inside ourselves, too, that we need to heal. So if I'm calling someone a piece of shit for this, this, and this, I need to take a damn good look in the mirror and see, well, where am I exhibiting piece of shit traits? Where am I a piece of shit? Why do I think I'm a piece of shit? Am I a piece of shit? Like, it's a really direct fucking mirror. And we're getting sort of like this global reflection back to ourselves too, in terms of like who we agree with or what we don't agree with or what someone's choosing and blah, blah, blah. Like we're getting a lot of reflective mirrors and it can be a lot to take care of yourself. But this is where I also go like, no, I am absolutely not better than anyone. Like, and in fact, for me, when I think that I'm better than someone, like, girl, fucking, that makes you worse. So we're all dancing in this like chaotic, beautiful unknown. We're all dancing within our soul, who's are all individual, our soul's evolution. And it's going to be unique and we're all going to be at different places. And to me, I like to see things as misalignment now when I don't like someone or someone doesn't like me, because that's also okay. That was something that was really hard for me as a people pleaser to have someone think I'm a piece of shit or hate what I'm choosing or think I'm dumb and not let it affect me. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like I have to also take that in. I'm like losing my train of thought a lot in this conversation, but that's okay. We're dancing in this dance. If I think I'm a piece of shit or someone thinks I'm a piece of shit, that's okay. It's a misalignment. There we go. I feel as though it's a misalignment. It is something where we might just not be matched right now. And we might not ever be matched in this lifetime again. And we also in 20 years might become besties again and roll around in the sand together. Like anything is fucking possible. Death, spiritual death and death, but like spiritual death, I'm talking about change. Ooh, death happens so naturally all the time. So even what I'm thinking right now is going to die after I say it, or it's going to die in a few years when I learn a new lesson and don't need to repeat that to myself or think that. Like, holy shit, I love life and thinking. Can we just take a moment for that? So, our spirit, our guides, ourselves, our higher selves, our current selves, we don't judge. They're actually in spirit world, there's like legit no judgment. I know that a lot of religions can believe that, and that can be fair because maybe when we die, we do enter a period of like, what are you going to choose? Are you going to choose to go back to Earth, which people do? They die and come back to life all the time. Are you going to choose? Like maybe there is a judgment, and I've never died at this point. I mean, maybe in my past lives I've died because I'm here as a new person, but like in this lifetime, I've never died. I've had friends that have died and have had interesting experiences, and I watch documentaries and all that stuff, and it's so freaking fascinating to me. But death, death happens so much in our lifetimes without the physical death I'm talking about, which I know physical death exists. So death happens all the time. The death of relationship, the death of a connection to narcissist, the death of a cycle, the death of a habit, the death of something that we thought we loved or that we did love even, and that has completely changed for ourselves. Like there are deaths that happen like fucking all the time in our lifetimes. And like it's also okay. And it's actually also really beautiful and magical because in death is new life. Every fucking year in certain places of the world, because I live in apparently permanent sunshine and summer, which I actually love, but I also get really confused by do I love it? Anyways, yes, I do. But overall, I love seasons too. So, like, death happens naturally. Like, plants die and come back to life. My rose bush has died, and my mint plant has died so many times and come back to life. Seasons, winter, death, like it's so fucking natural to have death of and change in our lives. And so, even as I have this version of myself who thinks that, you know, or connects to and thinks that I'm a fucking empath or whatever, and that I have these gifts, which I do, by the way, and so do you. But like, I'm just kind of looking at it from a bigger perspective. Like, even me who thinks that I'm this version of myself, that's going to change, and narcissism for me, the definition of the people around me that can hold these traits or what I view as narcissism, that's also going to change because I'm going to change within it. And like change also is something that happens so naturally. That's a part of the death and the new rebirth, the phoenix, whether or the slow growth of a beautiful spring plant. The way we are also reborn as the death happens, as we change is also so beautiful. So the evolution of ourselves, and we have many. Also, speaking of death, we have also like new versions of ourselves, new cycles, like we have new desires, new thoughts, new manifestations, like things change all the time. And speaking of guilt too, like some people that I work with experience a lot of guilt when their manifestation changes. Did I fail myself because I don't want that anymore? And I had this manifestation so hardcore and now I don't want it anymore, or it looks different, or it's a different person, or it's like completely open to anything. Like, did I fail? Am I bad? Am I wrong? No, because change is our breath, change is our life, change is the active source of like newness. Change is like, to me, change is everything because, like, as I'm speaking right now, everything is changing, literally. And so we allow ourselves to move in these changes is also what allows us to heal our soul's path, to step into our amazingness, to step into our disgustingness, to face it all, to feel it all, to move with it all, and then keep going. And people are going to change our lives, and ourselves are going to change our lives, and money's going to change our lives. And like location's going to change our lives, and travel and everything is going to change our lives. Let it, like let it. Work with yourself through it. Sometimes the navigation of change can feel like a lot or alarming or panicky or really sad. And that's so true and so real, and it's so yours. However you navigate all of this stuff, the feelings that you feel, the people around you, the boundaries that you have to set, the change that you have to go through, like you're doing amazing. You're navigating it beautifully. Stay tuned within yourself. Like tune in, let yourself feel it, let yourself expand into what you're freaking experiencing. Don't lie to yourself because when we lie to ourselves, life is going to show where we hold those lies and we don't admit them or say them or work with them because it wants us to move past that lie. It's going, you're lying to yourself or you're completely oblivious to something. Bless your soul. We don't judge you. We love the shit out of you. And here's some information or here's some events and circumstances, both good and bad, that are going to help you evolve into a more expansive version of yourself. Like, let it, let it. Anyways, this was a really interesting conversation, very lit up, very expressive conversation. There's so much more to speak about. So if you want to ever speak about it here or come onto the podcast and talk about a certain topic, like please let me know. We can absolutely meet before and see if we're in alignment or not. But yeah, I would love to continue these conversations and expand upon them. Thank you for listening. Thank you for reading the blog. Thank you for being in all of these spaces where life is so beautiful and my connection and curiosity to it is so alive and real. Like, thank you for being here. That's really cool that you love that or acknowledge that. That's also something I'm working on is accepting, receiving like compliments or people thinking I'm really awesome. I'm actually really working on that because when I say that people think I'm awesome, I want to push it away. So I'm awesome. You're fucking awesome. Let's work on this together. Whatever we're working through, we can work on it in tandem, side by side, separate, whatever we need to do. You're amazing. I love you. If you have any questions, you let me know. Have a beautiful ass day in all of the ways. You're incredible. Wow, life is cool, huh? What a ride. What a ride.